nice. It's very cool.
Right.
Along those lines of what it seems like you're talking about. For
Right,
sure.
exactly, and it's it's impossible to go back in time,
Yeah.
and do
It
we
is.
want to because like modern technology is great, it's
Mhm.
increased people's lifespans. Modern medicine can do certain miracles, like keep certain people alive.
Yeah.
But I think it's about closing that gap, right? It's like
Mhm.
um, like living in the modern society while still, you know, uh,
Yeah.
continuing on certain traditions, certain values that are innate to, it's part of human nature.
Yeah.
I would definitely encourage anybody to try, and just going along with what you guys are saying, I did a 3-day fast, which was kind of weird being a former meth person. I always needed chemicals in order to not eat for 3 days, but I felt like I could really do it. And along those same lines, the first day, and not being a smoker, not having any way to sort of quote unquote alleviate yourself, you put yourself in a very uncomfortable situation when you're fighting hunger pains. You go to bed hungry, where sometimes we have it trained in, like, I can't go to bed hungry because then it'll be bad for me. And you work through emotionally and physically a lot of trials that you can sort of self-induce, which I think is the journey we're all on, is pushing ourselves into the uncomfortable areas. And for me, it was an opportunity to really evaluate my relationship with food. Like, I use food to feel good. I use food to, feel better if I'm having a bad day. Like, I really helped me realize my relationship for food. And is it really for sustenance and energy, or has it transitioned into more of an emotional type situation? And it's a little of everything, but having that knowledge and experience it really helps me be more causative about eating, going longer durations without food. And at the end of that 3 days, I went in and I was working with my mentor, and I'm like, I don't know, it's this hard CrossFit workout and there's a lot of lifting, and I'm at the end of 3 days, I'm so tired. And he's like, go in there, change your mindset, and crush that workout. And I went in there and I did. I actually PR'd on a lifting workout at the end of 3 days. I just used those tanks. And of course, what you feel after achieving something like that cannot be just given to you. Like, that was hard earned. That was so uncomfortable. That was amazing, but it also made me realize, holy crap, look how far we can push ourselves, and look how good it feels to do so.
Yeah.
You can't simulate that by taking the easy way out. You've got to put yourself through the hard stuff, and that really sold me on, what else can we do to push harder? What else can we do to come out of our comfort zone? What else can we do to take this to the next level? Because that feeling is so good.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's addiction and comfort, and this comfort crisis is so intimately tied, right? It's addiction. Well, not necessarily. Addiction is definitely a comfort zone, but pre-addiction, just abusing drugs, that's taking a shortcut. That is, you're trying to, hack your way through, around, happen to work hard for, something that's, in a more organic way, right? Like working hard for, love, or working hard for some achievement, or working hard for happiness. All these things require, like, getting out of your comfort zone and putting in some uncomfortable hard work.
Yeah.
Whereas, using drugs or alcohol to achieve a certain emotional state, it's a shortcut.
And then you're always chasing it.
Right.
You're miserable 90% of the time, so you get that one hit, and it's good for like a second, and now you're back to chasing it.
Right. So just fasting, your relationship with food.
Oh yeah, believe me, I had a very nice steak as my reward at the end of that. I was thinking about it for 3 days, like, what is that meal I'm gonna eat? Oh, and it was an organic, amazing grass-fed beef. It was so good.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
just something else. Like, it'll be amazing in the future if we could figure out a way to incorporate something like that into our program. Because I can see the benefits of, I mean, I'm not talking about like the detox phase of the program, or the, acute detox, but long term, like how it could detox, all the toxins that are, are still, like, lodged in your, fat tissues, or.
I sent Angie this study a little while ago. It was cool. It had to do with the ketogenic diet and people going through alcohol withdrawal, and then there was proof that feeding someone a keto diet helped lessen their symptoms, and there's, I guess, some evidence as well that they ended up being a more successful after.
Sure. Right.
Which was very interesting.
Right.
Well, and it makes sense because we don't use sugar during detox because we don't want to perpetuate the symptoms and have it linger. So it would make sense that by also removing carbohydrates, it would also speed up that process of people healing, because you're handling the inflammation not just from the alcohol but of their bodies.
Yeah.
This stabilizes your blood sugar, your insulin response. That also has a lot to do with your mood and emotional
and you could,
ups and downs.
100%. Yeah, stabilizing your blood sugar is probably such a huge aspect of why that would be true. Why that would actually help.
Yeah, if it'll be interesting. Like, well, I guess the Whoop doesn't take the blood sugar, but if we were to monitor, if we were to monitor someone's like relapse cycle, like not that I want people to relapse, but like what state were you in when you slipped? Like, well, your blood sugar was crashed out.
Yeah,
or when you relapsed,
extremely high.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Your blood sugar was, maxed out for multiple hours. You must have just been eating and eating and eating.
Right.
Or something.
Yeah, something, and then next thing
Just
you know, you're drinking, cheap, a fifth of cheap vodka, whatever, just downing it.
Yeah. I recently did the glucose meter. It fell off. I'm waiting for a new one. But it is fascinating just to see how things that you put into your body do affect it. And now I've been on keto and intermittent fasting the whole time, so there hasn't been a ton of variation. But just seeing, like, how did the sauna, going in that sauna, affect my blood sugar? How'd that cold plunge affect my blood sugar? How did these factors affect it? And it is just fascinating, and it's always changing. But again, it's just more stuff to, at our point, to sort of tweak out on. But it would be fascinating if we could get people, like you said, we don't want people to relapse, but to have that kind of information where we would know if there was a common factor.
Yeah, and it also, helps make that connection between like what you're eating, how you're exercising, how often you're doing these things, really plays a role in you possibly feeling like you need to reach for something to change the way you feel. Reach for something outside of yourself. Definitely. Having someone make those connections to health and fitness. Taking care of that area of life and how closely it's related to addiction is super cool, and having metrics to show those connections could really help some people who are more science metric based people, that's for sure, or anyone really.
Right. Yeah, no, I was
numbers don't lie.
I was talking to a client the other day, and we were in the gym and we were talking about fitness, and he was saying, like, every time he's relapsed, it started off with him stopping going to the gym.
Yeah.
That I mean, some people, fitness isn't an entire replacement for recovery, but I think it's a vital element. And I was thinking, I read something recently about endurance athletes. They are very prone to depression because they have such a high endorphin threshold.
Oh.
So when they, like, let's say an endurance athlete, gets injured and is not able to get their, endurance workouts in, their endorphins just crash out.
I've seen that. I've seen that with people who got injured. Yeah.
Right. So
we need to keep an eye on Nate.
Right.
I couldn't help but think about it.
I know, he's an endurance. I mean, he's training for the Boston Marathon. He is an endurance athlete for sure.
Right.
But
so for me, that it just stresses why, like, it's so important for me to, like, get my workouts in religiously, even when I go on vacation, because, even on even light level stuff on weekends, because I'm not immune to small levels of depression or anything like that, and I could definitely get into a funk if I don't get my routine in.
Yeah, if I do some sort of movement, body movement, I feel better.
For sure.
Whether that's doing some functional bodybuilding type stuff, a hardcore CrossFit workout, going to the driving range, hitting golf balls, or even just going for a walk around my neighborhood, listening to a book. Some sort of movement in my day helps me feel better. 100%, and mentally.
Right. Yeah, and I hate it because, I hate it when I came across a client the other day. I was like, why were you not in CrossFit?
Yeah.
And he said, I had a bad day. I was like, what? That is the worst reason to not,
That's
get your workout in.
That's why you should go in there.
Exactly, because that will, reset everything.
But it is a process. I mean, I have to say, I was never into fitness. I grew up, I started using at 11. I was never in sports so much, but it is a process to get to that point where you recognize that it actually makes you feel better, not worse, especially when you're doing CrossFit, because your body hurts and this aches and that hurts and, oh, it was a bad day. That's the last thing I want to do is go put my attention on that. And it takes a while to get there, and I clearly remember. Yeah, I was doing CrossFit for a few years, and I hated it every day because it was just my body was so far from being at a point where I felt good about the workouts, and I was grumpy, and I was struggling, and Logan looked at me, and he's like, dude, when was the last time you worked out? And I'm like, what do you mean? It's been a busy week, and I haven't had time. And he's like, you need to get in the gym. And it actually took my kid recognizing that I wasn't doing good, and why, and making me go in there when I went, oh my God, I finally made it. I'm finally that person that I have to work out in order to feel good.
Logan could tell you that. I don't think I could tell my wife that. Just you're
no, but you could get Coda to tell her. You could get Coda to tell her.
Right.
I have not once. I used to struggle with that kind of back and forth in my head of I don't want to do it today, or I don't think I can work out. I'm too tired. Or
I was
today
working late.
I worked a little too hard. I don't think I have it in me. All that went away when I cleaned up my diet. Working out has never felt like a chore. It's something I'm drawn to it. There's that mental, I don't think I should do it today. It's not there. It's more, the only thing that gets in the way is just time. Can I squeeze it into, life, for that day. And there's always a way to find, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot.
No.
You can do, even if you just, blast through 50 burpees, that's going to be good for you. It's better than doing nothing,
Right.
And, 100 is better than 50. But, doing something, moving your body can make such a big difference in, the way you react with the, all the relationships in your life.
Right.
And it's a great way to strengthen that relationship with yourself too, which I think is really important.
Super important. I know for me, this go round, part of my big goal last year, I started hot yoga. And so I was very fortunate to get a sauna that I have in my backyard. And when I started doing warrior Ramwads in the sauna, you think you're just stretching. That's not a workout. It's a freaking workout, and I'm pouring sweat, and I feel so good. I have to pull myself out of there, because it's one of those things. It's not like CrossFit where you have a workout, you're in and out in an hour, you're good to go. This is something where I could literally be in there for hours, and I have to remind myself to get out, because now it's becoming a little bit unhealthy for you, which is a whole new process in my mind. But it can be anything, even just yoga, just stretching, anything that's getting the body moving, or walking. My puppy is a blessing. That little bastard he has so much energy. I have to walk him numerous times a day. But it's a good thing, because it's it gets me outside. It gets me in that sunlight. Whereas before I'd be let me just go to my gym. Now I got to get outside, and I love that as well.
Yeah.
Plenty of things to do that aren't always just a hard CrossFit workout that still give you lots of benefits.
Right. Yeah. No, I got really sick of the trainees telling me they didn't have time. They don't have time.
Yeah.
They
Right.
don't have time. They don't have time to work. You know, and I was like,
Right.
give me 1 minute. 1 minute is all I need, and I'll have you, you know, on the ground gasping for air and sweating. You know, and there's certain workouts like that.
Yeah.
And you know, and going back to you know, going back to the hunter gatherer thing, you know, like you know, I always sometimes I think about it during workouts, you know, and really like I don't know, I don't know if there's a number or stats or whatever, you know. I always think like, well, if you can't outrun a threat in 20 minutes, you're dead.
Yeah.
20 is pretty long, right?
Right.
So you don't need
That is
you
long.
don't even need that much time to work out, right? You know, and I've heard you know, there are tribes that used to you know, would run after prey and outrun their prey, you know, in distance, to you know, to hunt and kill them. You know, so I could see that aspect of the workout, but the other aspect of the workout is, you know, if you know, outrunning threats, you know. Yeah, you don't need to, you know, outrun a threat for that long, and that's just simulating that, you know,
Yeah.
whatever, you know, and that's healthy.
Right. Well, and I think that's why we all like CrossFit as well, because it's that functional fitness. Like,
Right.
if the shit goes down, I want
Right.
to know I can throw you over my shoulder and get out of there. I mean, I could do it, Tots. I don't know if I can put Tom over, but you know, you want to know that what you're doing applies to life. It translates.
Right.
It can help you if you're in a jam because you've been sort of training it, although in a gym. But it's the same movements that could help you if the shit goes down.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very, like, it's inseparable, like fitness and survival. That's inseparable. Like, you know, health, fitness, survival, longevity, all those things are like inseparable, you know. And it's just like, yeah, CrossFit says preparing someone for what is it? What do they say?
The unknown and the unknowable.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I always, you know, throw things in during coaching, and the clients just laugh at me. They think it's funny, you know. But it's like, yeah, if you want to survive getting hit by a car, you know, you're gonna do these squats because it's gonna increase your bone density and muscle mass, and that's the way you're gonna survive, you know, getting hit by a car. You know?
And you won't slip back into
Right.
sickness.
Right.
You
And I
wanna
say that's
be-
important. 'Cause
Yeah.
if you get hit by a car and you know, you get all messed up and they put you on painkillers and, you know, you're out for, you know, years, you know, you're gonna be back on drugs.
Yeah.
Well, even just, hey, you want to be able to get off that toilet when you're like 60? You need to do
Right.
squats. You don't want to get stuck on there or even out of bed.
Yeah, you don't want to throw your back out taking the groceries
Oh,
Right.
from the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's-
People hurt themselves doing the craziest little things.
Little
you know,
things.
like that tweak their neck or their back,
Right.
doing just your everyday thing. And you know, when I think about functional fitness, and the you know, like I've seen all these videos, you know, that CrossFit has put out and videos that other people make. You know, that to me is like the biggest thing. It's like, I don't want to get injured doing any little remedial task, you know, in my life. I want to be able to, you know, do things with ease.
Right.
And not only with ease, like really well.
Right.
You know.
Right. That's the thing with like modern medicine
Mm.
has got us, you know, has helped us in longevity, the
Right.
quantity, you know, like you could live a long time, you know, in this society. But then you also got, you know, not just quantity, but you got quality.
Right.
Your quality of
Quality
your life.
Yep.
Yes.
Right.
yep.
Yeah.
What's the point of living that long if you're miserable, uncomfortable, and
Right, and that goes back
Unhealthy.
to like the state of normal, you know. It's just I drop my kids off at the school, and then I you know, sometimes I pick them up from school, and then I see you know, some of these people get out of their cars and they're, you know, they waddle to pick up their kids and they can barely walk,
Yeah.
and that's, you know, and I go, this is normal, but this is not good, you know, that. And I think people just don't, you know, maybe some people don't even think twice about it, you know, that this is just the way it is, you know.
it's my
I'm in a-
genetics,
I'm
it's
in
my
a-
DNA.
Right, I'm in a, you know, it's unfortunate, I'm sad about it, but I'm in a, you know, like waddle out of my car and waddle to pick up my kid, and I can't pick the kid up because
So I could get hurt.
yeah,
Physically strong
right.
enough to-
Right. But yeah, I always think about like some of what motivates me. Some of them are stupid. Like I want to be able to, I don't want my son to be able to kick my ass, until I'm like 25, right? Like
Right.
right? Like I could, he's 5 right now, and I could tell him what to do. What if he gets bigger and stronger than me and he starts pushing me around and I can't even tell him what to do, because I'm whatever. Or I would like to be strong enough to like in the future when if my daughter's boyfriend does something, I better be able to sort that out.
Yeah.
Right? Or
Right.
these things also like motivate me, as well as I want to be able to like walk my daughter down the aisle when she's getting married, or I want to be able to play with my kids' grandchildren, and I'd like to be able to toss them in the air, or when I'm old, I'm a grandfather, but I could toss my your grandkid in the air and catch him, and
Not
oh,
throw
that's
you back
important.
down.
Right.
That's
Or drop
amazing.
them.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
Well, and it's
those are-
funny, and
that's good purpose.
it's
Right,
good
right,
purpose, and
yeah.
I think it changes for us all the time. I mean, for me, I've CrossFitted 9 years, and I'm like, I feel good, but you just can't tell. Like, I can't see it, and I don't need to see it to know that I'm healthy and that I'm fit, but it's sort of the lot in life. That's just my body. That's that, Viking, whatever. But it took me losing this last 18 months, what was it, almost 30 pounds, where I'm like, oh my God, I can actually see it. All that work, I can finally see abs. I know you say they're pointless,
Yeah.
but man, it feels good to see abs when you've put in the work for so long to finally visibly feel that stuff. And then when you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you look good. There's this whole nice little
Yeah, it's better
thing
than,
that occurs.
It's better than an award or trophy having abs. Right?
Yeah, you got to work hard to
Yeah,
get.
right,
Well,
right.
most of us have to work pretty hard to get
Right.
those. Some people just have them, but I had to work hella hard,
Right.
and I had to lose enough weight to actually be able to see that they were there, which which is key too, because I had settled into my healthy CrossFit body. I mean, and I was wearing smalls. I was wearing a size 6. It wasn't like I was super huge, but I still needed to go a little further in order to really like actually see it now.
Right.
Yeah, I guess something that I feel like should be brought up is just, we at Elevate, we really focus on not treating the symptoms of things, and, like getting to the root cause, or getting, peeling back those layers and finding out what that is, and with this whole health boom that's going on, that I think we're all a part of, with finding out the truth behind these things. I guess what's coming up for me is, I've had asthma my whole life, and it was never really, it was just medications on top, and that's the way our Western medicine treats everything. It's just medications to treat the symptoms.
Yep.
Yeah, and we're just band-aiding people, keeping them going, but never really addressing the deeper causes of these things. And kind of like what I was saying earlier, I think we are at an interesting point in time where there have been some doctors out there that have gone against the grain.
Yeah.
And with diabetes, in particular, that's what I'm thinking about, a particular doctor. And they're starting to really see things that have not been seen before in addressing the root causes. And so, and I think a root cause for a lot of people's problems are, just the way that they're living. It's obvious, and like TOTS said, we haven't evolved to live like this, and so addiction's popping up.
Right.
And so looking at the way we are living our life is so important into into establishing and finding out what our baseline really is. Like, what can we tweak like with our daily habits, like how much TV are you watching? You know, are you even getting any sun on your skin? You know, when was the, you know, when was the last time you went for a walk?
Right.
You know, like all of those things are just so, they could really start to be this telltale sign for why addiction developed.
Sure.
You know, and it's just a thought worth mentioning.